Start with today and the conditions, a little colder than it has been. How was it?
It was good. It was a good first Tuesday. I thought they responded really well. That was one of the emphasis we put on, especially after last week, of making sure we had a good start to the week. So I thought, the conditions, besides the conditions, right, we're now playing meaningful games this late. You're going to have cold, you're going to have windy, you're going to have rainy days. So this is just another part of the game. But I thought they responded really well.
As you looked at the film from Saturday, were you happy with what you saw for the most part with your offense?
Yeah, we missed some plays from an execution standpoint that could have resulted in big explosive plays. So that was kind of the main emphasis that we talked about. I think we had 12 explosives, but we talked about we could have had anywhere from 15 to 16. So just making sure we're finishing from that piece. Obviously, there were some really good plays. There are some things that we got to make sure we clean up as well.
Take us through the conversation that was had on the third down, 3 or 4, whatever it was, and the play call. That was something that you guys had practiced, and that was in your back pocket for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we had a timeout where if we didn't have the look, we could have called a timeout. We were hoping that we were going to get pressure, and that was part of it. They were a pressure team. So once we had the look, where the quarterback saw he had the look, he kind of gave the okay, and we were good to roll from there. And everyone did a great job from the execution standpoint.
What do you see on film from App State?
App State, they're good. They do a really good job from the rushing side of things, right? I think their defensive line gets off the football. I think they're only letting up 110 yards per game on the ground. So I think they do a really good job in between the box and a good job of really forcing people to have, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 play drives. That's kind of their structure in my eyes. But I think they're up front. That's where it starts with them. They do a really good job of getting off the football, especially the interior piece.
I know they have a corner that's tied for second in the country, I think, in pass breakups too. Just like, what are you kind of seeing from him and kind of just the rest of the pieces on that defense?
Yeah, I think it goes in where it starts with the D-line.
Yeah.
I think their back end is really good, but I think where you see it starts with the front, the box, and they do a good job of creating havoc. And then I do think their defensive backs are really good, and I think they also at times force you, like they'll play over the top of receivers and not really allow you to get by them at times, which forces you to be really methodical and make sure you're efficient in each individual play.
You mentioned some of those explosive plays on Saturday that maybe didn't connect completely. I know we talked to Zoe after. He said he feels really comfortable throwing that deep ball right now. What do you want to see change just a little bit to make sure that, you are hitting, Nick missed one in the end zone, but making sure those do get the connection?
Yeah, I think the big thing, if you're just referring to that clip, it's just, we got to make sure we clean up a little bit of the angle. We got to make sure we clean up of attacking the football and all things that go into it. But just making sure that now we don't make the same mistake, right? So obviously there's things for each individual route, that specific route. There's other plays, whether it be the ball thrown, whether it be, the route, the defensive back, just making sure that once we see it on tape, that we do not make that same mistake twice. That's the biggest thing.
How much are you seeing the offensive line right now help that group? Because I know on Jalen's touchdown catch over the weekend, Zoe had about 3 or 4 seconds to get the ball out.
Yeah, absolutely. It starts with the offensive line. I mean, they did a great job with that clip. I think the tight ends and running backs, they were included in that protection as well. They did a great job where someone had a twister and the tight end did a great job of picking that up. But it all starts with them. We go back to the Texas State clip where he threw the post to Nick, right? And he had 4 or 5 seconds to throw the football. Now we included the tight end and running back in this protection, and he could have sat back there for 5 or 6 seconds to allow Jalen to get open down the field. But it starts with that group from the communication standpoint all the way across the board. And they've been playing really well, and we got to continue to carry that on. And then obviously with Toner too, playing as a left tackle then, right, enough can't be said about him just in terms of how he produced and what he did from only really getting 1 week of practice from it.
What does it take going off of that with Toner to step into that role kind of almost unexpectedly, at least a little bit?
Yeah, it just speaks, he played tackle 2 years ago. It just speaks really from the knowledge side of things. To be able to do that, right, although he's playing offensive line, it's basically a different position, right? Your calls are different. Your technique is different. Everything from the run game to the pass game. So for him to be able to do that, it all starts above the shoulders, right? So from the mental side of things, for us to have confidence and then for him to confidently execute it, it just speaks from his knowledge of the game.
Again, with the offensive line, what has it been like to see a younger guy like Trent Wilson step in and make the impact he's been able to make in the rotation?
Yeah, I mean, like we said before from fall camp, Trent came in with a different type of mentality, right? You knew that he had been around big football. You knew that he attacked things, and he came in. You wouldn't look at him and say, if you saw him on day one, that that's a freshman. He's making freshman mistakes. He wasn't making freshman mistakes. And he came in saying that he wanted to play, and that's what he's done with himself is he's forced himself onto the football field.
Trent's hit on Saturday after the interception too. Is that a nice one to remind people that he isn't a freshman when you see him being able to block like that?
Yeah, and that's what you need. Obviously it was an unfortunate error or unfortunate interception, but we need to make sure we track the football, and that's one of the things that you talk about. We can't make a bad play worse. So he did a great job of getting him on the ball and obviously laid him out too.
How was the first practice of the week in the cold weather today?
Good to get back out there on a Tuesday and have a normal week and come back home. It's exciting to get ready to go. Exciting, big game Saturday.
Is it nice to kind of get into a normal week rhythm? You haven't had that for a while.
Yeah, very much. Just to wake up Sunday and do what you do on Sunday and Monday and move on to the next one. So absolutely excited to have a normal week again.
What did the film show you from the Marshall game this past week?
I mean, a lot of opportunities to improve, obviously. Not to maybe where we've built our standard to be, but at the same time, there's a lot of good things, and we came out on top, and that's all that matters.
The plays in the fourth quarter, especially when you had to make the plays, you were able to make the plays. Does that say a lot about your football team and your defense?
Yeah, I mean, we've known that all year about our ability to fight through adversity and just be a tough defense. I think that's deep within our culture. Obviously, that doesn't excuse some of the opportunities we had earlier to make plays, and we gotta do a better job this week.
Talk about this week and talk about App State.
I mean, another really dangerous offense. A running back that leads the league in yards, and a quarterback that's been through a lot this season. But man, I mean, when he needs it, he puts up yards, and they complete a lot of passes, and they're definitely a threat to attack you over the top or intermediate zones. I mean, it's a challenging game plan. I think their head coach is an elite offensive coordinator, has been for a number of years. Just a big obstacle ahead of us, and excited for the opportunity to do it in front of our home fans.
When we talked to Trent after the game, one of the first things he said was that he wasn't happy at all with his performance and that, he wanted to get back to work and fix it. And just kind of even outside from him specifically, how much do you notice that from your defensive kind of that always having a little bit of an unsatisfaction with like how they played?
Yeah, I mean, that's good culture, right? You always want more. Yeah, we can be satisfied with the wins, but at the same time, we want more. We want to make sure we do our job at a very high level and increase our ability to hold the opponent to less. And, I think we didn't leave the game with that offense feeling like we were dominating. And that's something we want to make sure we do. So another opportunity Saturday.
I know this receiver they have, Jaden Barnes, he caught 13 balls last week, and they seem to target him a lot. Just how much of that is just this scheme kind of opening up opportunities versus him just maybe making plays when he does get his opportunities?
Yeah, is that it? He only had 13? No, I think he's a dynamic weapon used in a lot of different ways. I think what makes him unique is he can push the ball down the field. He can stretch you vertically, but he's also really dangerous in underneath stuff and screens and jet sweeps and every other way he touched the ball. I mean, he's a dynamic punt returner. So, yeah, a super dangerous weapon. We got to know where he is at all times, and we got to do our best to make it a long day for him. Just try to slow him down as much as we can.
Going into the season, a lot of people really on the outside had a big question mark over Aiden's head as to just what he would be able to do this season. How have you seen him grow since the season started?
Yeah, I mean, he's a really good player game one, so just keeps getting better. I mean, he's getting comfortable, right? He didn't play much college football until this year, even though he was on the team, and he's an older guy in some ways. This is still his first year really as a major contributor of a program, and, man, we couldn't ask for much more. He's been a lot of fun to coach, and he's a lot of fun to watch play every Saturday.
And I know Dave asked you a little bit about what you took away from the Marshall game now that you've gotten to watch some film. What did you take away from your run defense and I guess really containing the quarterback in the run game as well?
Yeah, I mean, all these dynamic quarterbacks are extremely difficult to game plan for you. You're trying to cover and keep the ball in front of you, and then all of a sudden they're taking off. And, just felt like he made one more play than every time we thought we had their backs against the walls, he made another play to get them out. So, you know, obviously we got to be better. We got to be more intentional about our plan to stop him and keep him in the box. But run fit wise, you know, I think we let ourselves down a little bit. I think we would like to have some plays back and make sure we better fit them up. But I mean, credit to them. They have a dynamic run game and they had a good plan and they executed at a high level. We just got to execute at a higher level.